right. Gwyneth Paltrow is in the press right now promoting a new movie called Marty Supreme, in which she stars with Timothée Chalamet. And in this interview with Vanity Fair, she really started showing her age. She wasn't aware that intimacy coordinators are a mainstay on Hollywood sets. I guess it's been that long since the start of her acting hiatus that she wasn't familiar with all the new rules and all the post-Me Too social conventions that exist, and she doesn't like them, and I think she feels safe to poke fun at them at this point, at this stage in the game. Here was her full comment. Vanity Fair says, only Gwyneth Paltrow could dip back into filmmaking after a lengthy hiatus and immediately find herself making out with the internet's boyfriend. Of course, they're referring to Timothée Chalamet here, which I find disgusting because he looks like a rat and he has like a mustache that a 13-year-old boy has when he hasn't been taught to shave yet. But yeah, they say last fall, paparazzi footage from Marty Supreme's set revealed Chalamet, a couple decades Gwyneth Paltrow's junior, spontaneously grabbing her and kissing her senseless in Central Park.
Senseless?
Senseless.
Senseless?
Yeah, senseless. Not just kissing her, but senselessly.
How do you... Wait, did he kiss her senselessly, or did he kiss her to the extent that she became senseless? I'm confused.
I think to the extent that she became senseless.
Okay.
Is what they mean. That
Senseless
viral scene,
acts of kissing?
That viral scene is but foreplay, Gwyneth reveals. She says, I mean, we have a lot of sex in this movie, and there's a lot. A lot. So you're in a lot of vulnerable positions with him, they ask. And she says, beyond. So, first of all, I don't want to see Timothée Chalamet and Gwyneth Paltrow.
It's the golden age
sex.
for middle-aged women in Hollywood. They
Is
just
it
get
not?
to have sex
It's
with all
crazy.
the 20-something dudes.
Nicole Kidman is doing it.
Anne Hathaway is doing it.
Anne Hathaway as well. I mean, you could even maybe count that Jennifer Lawrence movie, No Hard Feelings.
Yeah.
It's just countless examples at this point. It's getting weird.
I mean, I don't know. Saying the Jennifer Lawrence one is that age is kind of like when they're saying Hillary Burton is aging and she's like 42, but it's just because she has
But the point
gray hair.
of the movie plot is that she's like the older woman,
Yes.
right? All we know about Marty Supreme so far is that it's about a young man with a dream no one respects, and he goes to hell and back in pursuit of greatness. It's a ping pong themed comedy.
Wonder if
He's a ping pong
Kylie was
player.
on set for any of this.
Wait, who?
Is he dating Kylie? Is he the one dating
Oh,
Kylie?
yeah.
Wonder if she was on set for any of this.
They've been together for a while now. So she plays a table tennis wag. This woman who is married to someone who is in the ping pong mafia, as it were.
Wait.
They meet.
No, stop. Did you say that she is a ping pong wife and girlfriend?
She's a ping pong mob wife.
Never mind. I've changed my mind. I want to see this movie.
Okay, cool. It's from Josh Safdie, by the way.
Okay.
So that's his follow-up to Uncut Gems. They meet, and she's had a pretty tough life, and I think he breathes life back into her.
It's not easy being a ping pong wife.
Kind of transactional for them both. And she feels deeply connected to the part she plays, adding, I think this was Josh Safdie saying he feels deeply connected to the part that Gwyneth plays. When Gwyneth Paltrow left acting, she really left, so much so that she says she had never seen Uncut Gems or watched a Timothée Chalamet movie, though her kids are fans of her co-star. That is so weird. That must be so awkward. Like, can you imagine? Ew. They say he's a thinking man's sex symbol. He's very polite.
That feels like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, that's weird.
Who did they used to say that about? I'll have to come back to it. They used to say that about somebody back in the early 2000s.
So Gwyneth Paltrow is praising Timothée Chalamet as the thinking man's sex symbol. He's just very polite, properly raised. I was going to say kid. He's a man who takes his work really seriously and is a fun partner, which brings us to the copious amounts of on-screen sex, which has changed since the days of peak Paltrow.
So 20 there from Pop Culture Junkie. Says Disney source says advertising schedules have been cut for Snow White since they feel it's more money down a rat hole. This film has 4 rounds of test screenings and was essentially remade 3 times. Does it seem that way? There's enough disconnected story that feels incongruous to say that it feels like it's definitely got a lot of notes from test screenings where they added on to it.
So does that mean no advertising after release?
Just like get that
Just
shit
none?
out there.
Where we want it to be memory hold as fast as possible, basically.
On to Lilo and Stitch.
I mean, yeah, kind of. I'm already seeing like way more marketing for Lilo and Stitch in comparison. So Paltrow said, there's now something called an intimacy coordinator, which I did not know existed. I was like, girl, I'm from the era where you get naked, you get in bed, the camera's on. We said, I think we're good. You can step a little bit back. I don't know how it is for kids who are starting out, but if someone is like, okay, and then he's going to put his hand here, I would feel, as an artist, very stifled by that.
She has joined the likes of Sean Bean and Michael Caine saying, like, I just don't get these intimacy coordinators. They're stifling my art.
Like she's admitting that she's out of touch with the new sexual mores.
Well, it was men that said this stuff before, and they were roundly criticized for saying so.
Well, she's getting criticized too. We'll get to that. She said, I was like, okay, great. I'm 109 years old. You're 14. I don't know if it's great that she perceives Timothée Chalamet to be a child and is still filming these scenes with him. But for the record, he is actually a 27-year-old man. So very much the age of consent. But a lot of the Gen Z replies were saying, like, wow, like Gwyneth Paltrow really like didn't know what she was saying here. Like, she needs to take this back. She needs to walk this back.
She's properly disconnected. She doesn't care.
Someone said, it's for everyone's safety, girl.
I was curious about the gender breakdown of intimacy coordinators.
Oh, they're all women.
No,
right?
no. See, that's where you're wrong. A study in 2022 says 63% of working intimacy professionals identified as female, while 30% identified as trans.
Wait, which ones?
30% identified as trans.
What?
Non-binary, gender fluid, agender, or otherwise gender non-conforming. Another analysis of film credits over a 4-year period indicated that 87% of intimacy coordinators were awarded to women, 12% to men, and 1% to individuals identifying other ways.
Where did you find this?
I just ChatGPT'd it. It's from a.
This is real?
Yep, it's from a Stephen Follows post. I don't know if it's. Look, who knows? Who knows? I just thought it was interesting. Could be fake. ChatGPT isn't always right.
Well, okay, the part of my guess that almost none of them are actually just men. Like, I mean, like 12, actual straight 12, men.
I mean, the 87% to 12% men actually makes sense to me, but that might be for
gay men.
Yeah.
So, like, how many straight cis male intimacy coordinators are there?
I don't know.
Like, guessing 0.
Somebody could make a YouTube channel, like my journey to become the first male intimacy coordinator begins here, and they start like training.
Even that is its own cottage industry now. I know you talk about people who work in blue collar trades, and they make that into a way to create content on TikTok or
Half
YouTube.
the things I watch are people doing.
But you see that a lot with other people as well. Intimacy coordinators, I've noticed, are making TikTok pages and a whole social media presence around what they do for a living because it's just so fascinating and it's so beyond what ordinary people even realize. Most people don't know that intimacy coordinators exist.
Yep.
And apparently Gwyneth Paltrow was one of those people who didn't know that intimacy coordinators
it was like
exist.
They brought up Cameron Diaz, who didn't understand how Hollywood worked now when they come back to the industry. Yeah,
she also, Cameron Diaz said that she was like just stunned by the new invention of like camera phones. Like she was famous before cell phones that had cameras.
1994, The Mask.
That's a wild transition to live through, and I'm sure Me Too is just as much of a seismic shift in Hollywood. But yeah, there's that, and then there are like therapists who make a following off of being therapists.
I remember the interview.
Morticians.
I remember the interview with the guy from True Detective talking about how, or no, it was with Alexandra Daddario, I think, talking about how they hired adult film stars to be extras in like a strip club scene, and like when they say action, they all just take their clothes off and start doing their role, and all the the regular actors are like,
So what were they expecting them to do before taking their clothes off?
No, I think they were talking more the ease of which they just get naked without any like second thought. There's no there isn't a second thought to it, nor do they feel embarrassed or even self-conscious in any way because they're so used to being in a room like that. But now in a far more litigious society, there has to be the intimacy coordinator on set to make sure that Sean Bean or somebody isn't putting their hands where it's not supposed to be.
So they say Gwyneth Paltrow laughs, but in fact, she is part of the reason behind the shift toward intimacy coordinators, which rose to prominence after the Me Too movement revealed an extent of sexual abuse in Hollywood. As a former Miramax darling, Gwyneth Paltrow lent her prominent voice to the reckoning in 2017, alleging in the New York Times that Harvey Weinstein made sexual advances on her in his hotel suite when she was 22 and on the cusp of filming her first starring role in Emma. She said, when asked if Me Too succeeded in changing the industry, Gwyneth Paltrow says, "I think so. For one, there are no meetings set up in hotel rooms, from what I understand." I'm shocked by that. Or if there are, it's multiple people in the room. That bubble has definitely burst. I'm sure people still abuse power in Hollywood because they do everywhere, but it has definitely changed.
It's a very rational response.
But then, regardless of the change that's taken place in Hollywood due to Me Too, she still doesn't want to deal with the consequences of it. And the real world consequence of it is the fact that there is an intimacy coordinator on set. Maybe the only other difference would be mandated therapy on set, but intimacy coordinators are an invention of the post-Me Too era, and she clearly feels uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
More uncomfortable than she felt with the way things were before. And yet she still was one of the most vocal advocates for the change.
Well, I wonder what it'll look. I mean, it's more like you advocate for the change without really knowing what that change is going to look like. And then you realize that you were more comfortable with what it was beforehand. But that doesn't mean that change isn't necessarily a bad thing. So 20 years from now, Gen Z will be looking at a completely different Hollywood that will have completely different rules and regulations, and they will then have to reckon with their own lack of understanding of what it's going to be like, because there'll have to be two intimacy coordinators, like watching each other at the same time.
I already feel like I don't understand young people these days.
Yeah, you make that joke to me all the time.
I say it all the time because it's like just yesterday I saw a Zoomer couple walking out of the movie theater, and I was like, oh, they look like they're maybe like late teens. They're getting into this kid's car, and he actually opened the door for his girlfriend. I'm assuming it's his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. Well, they still care about being humans.
No, what it was she opened the door for him when they went to the theater.
Oh, it's
so he's allowed
50-50?
To reciprocate. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what
Okay.
Some like that actually happened one time. I opened the door for Olivia, and somebody like looked at me from across the street and go, "Nice." Like in a nice. They were like, "Oh, nice." And
but it's like crazy that's so remarkable. Like
yes.
But I did remark upon it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like teenagers are still trying to be normal human beings. That's cool.
Or hear me out.
That's great.
Hear me out. He has a good dad.
I hope so.
I
certainly hope so. It's rare.
Like he has good parents.
Yeah, I bet.
Like that was. It's like, or is this what we call good parenting?
Being raised right.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.